guys, welcome back to Star's channel. Today I'll be showing you how to do a cartwheel. So this is a basic move and you need to know this before moving on to advanced skills like an aerial. And I'll be going from beginner to advanced gymnastics moves. And I've done a roly-poly, splits, handstand part 1, which was how to do a handstand, handstand part 2, which was how to hold a handstand longer, and many more. All the links are in the description down below if you want to check them out. You also need to be able to do a handstand before doing a cartwheel, so if you don't know how to do that, I have posted a tutorial. So without any further ado, let's get started. Whoa, wait. Before we get started, we're going to do a like, subscribe and notification bell challenge. You have to press all those buttons with your middle finger in 5 seconds. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Did you do it? If you did, give yourself a pat on the back. Now, let's actually get started. So the first thing we're going to look at is how to get into a cartwheel, how to go out and just work on its form. So you need to get the form perfect if you want to have a good cartwheel. And I'll have loads of tips of that throughout the video, so make sure to watch it all the way through without skipping, or you might miss out some very useful information. And the first thing we're going to do is to just practice your handstand, because a handstand is a necessary skill before doing a cartwheel, because a handstand, you're technically going into a handstand, just turning when you're doing a cartwheel. So you're going to use the same leg when you go into a cartwheel and a handstand. So you're going to put your good leg in front and your bad leg at the back, and we're just going to kick in front into T position, which is this. And remember, your good leg is always the same, whether you're doing a handstand, a cartwheel, or any other gymnastics moves. So make sure to keep it the same. Do not change it, or you're not going to get your best cartwheel. And make sure to complete all these steps, and make sure to complete them until you're secure and you find it really easy to do until you move on to the next step. Because if you don't, then your cartwheel is not going to look good. When you're doing the lunge, when you're starting in your good leg at the front, you want it slightly bent. Make sure to keep your arms by your ears, and your hands have to follow your ears to the whole cartwheel. So you have to start like this. A common mistake is starting to the side and then going in like this, and do not do that. It's not a proper cartwheel. You have to start facing the front. When you're going into your handstand, you want to go to the T position like I said before, and you just want to start lowering your hands to the ground and lifting your back leg up. But don't just place your hands down normally like you would do in a handstand. Make sure to put them sideways so you can actually kick to the side, because if you put your hands straight like this, your cartwheel isn't going to look very good and you're going to land on the floor. So instead, when you're going into handstand, you can try and filming yourself to get good form, and also to see if you're actually putting your hands sideways, because that's a very common mistake people make. So you're going to kick, a good turn, and then put your hands down. In order to get to the other side, you want to push off your leg by straightening the front leg, and that should give you enough power to go across to the other side. If you don't have enough power, then I recommend kicking off harder. A good thing I use is to just kick in cartwheel like this, because that gives you more power instead of just going into it. You just want to lift it a little bit and just go into it. Another top tip for you is to not move your hands while doing your handstand, because number one, it looks so scruffy and does have good form. Number two, it'll be easier to do your cartwheel if you don't move your hands. So I'll show you what I mean now. So this is a normal cartwheel. And then here's a scruffy cartwheel with your hands all over the place. And as you can see, you couldn't even land it properly. When you're finishing your cartwheel, you want to land in a lunge, but instead of your good leg being at the front, you want to get your bad leg at the front. So you're going to end like this. Your hands should still be by your ears. Another very common mistake is to just lift your hands off lately. And if you do that, it's going to look very messy, and it's actually going to be harder to do your cartwheel. So make sure to lift your hand after you've put your first leg on the ground. So if you keep your hands on the ground too long, it will look like this, and that is not very good. Make sure to not kick your legs down to the side, because that is not a proper cartwheel. A proper cartwheel requires you to go over your head. Even though this might seem hard, it really isn't. Now just try a cartwheel following the tips I told you. Now you might not get it because I still haven't told you how to actually do it, but a lot of people can do it really quickly. You just don't know it yet. So just try it. Even if you fail, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to show you how to do it right now. I'm going to show you a method that I like to call around the world approach, and this is actually how I learnt my cartwheel, and I learnt this in one day, so I'm pretty sure it will help you too. So the first thing we're going to do in our around the world approach is to just do a cartwheel, but it should be really messy. Don't try and make it messy, but it's fine if it is. And you're just going to bend our legs and put it around the side view. So we're basically just doing what I told you not to do in the other one, but gradually we're just going to straighten it, and eventually we get a perfect cartwheel. And this is just the basic motion of the cartwheel, so it'll help you get used to it. Now we've got the basic motion of the cartwheel, we're going to work on our placement. So what I mean by that is just where you put your hands and where you put your feet. And this is really important in a cartwheel, because if you don't get this right, then your cartwheel is never going to come out properly. So I'm going to use a thing that I like to call hand, hand, foot, foot. So it's basically what you do in a cartwheel. Loads of people put their hands on the ground like both of them, and that is not correct. So what you have to do is put one hand, so that's the first hand, second hand, and then you're going to kick off one foot, and you're going to land on one foot, and then your other foot. So you're just going to work on that. If you're having trouble, then just put down post-it notes, because I find it really helps me. So just put the post-it notes where your hands and legs would be, and just practice going over them. So put your hands on the post-it notes. Don't do it next to it. Make sure they're in a straight line, because a cartwheel needs to be in a straight line. And if you're struggling with doing that, then I recommend putting on like a row of tape. And you can just go on the tape if you don't have a beam already. And I forgot to mention, but I did post a beam review, and I really recommend that video because it's really detailed and useful. So the link is down in the description if you want to watch that later. Now we've nearly done our cartwheel. We're just going to work on the motion of our hips now. And our hips are a really big part of your cartwheel, because if you don't have like the flexible hips, then you probably can't do it, because you go sideways or you can't actually go in a straight line. So for that, you need to have flexible hips. Then I recommend going down to my stretching tutorial. The link is in the description, and it's a really easy stretching tutorial to become flexible really fast. But I'm just going to show you the main exercises to do now. So the first exercise to do is to get wide hips. Is we're just going to go on the floor. I'm just going to open our legs like this in like frog position. Just going to hold this for about 30 seconds, and then once you've done that, you should feel really stretched and your hips should be a little wider. But for the best results, I recommend doing my flexibility stretch. If you still don't get what I mean by open and closed hips, I'm going to show you an example of closed hips. As you can see, my hips weren't flexible enough to get to the other side, so that made my cartwheel not look like a cartwheel, looked more like a round-off. And a tutorial will be coming out very soon on how to do a round-off, so make sure to click the post notification bell once you subscribe to be notified when I post that. And thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And once you subscribe, turn on the post notification bell, which will notify you every single time I post a new video. And also make sure to share this video to all your friends, because I'm sure they'll find it very helpful to learn a new skill. Please watch another video on my channel, because it really helps to grow it. Bye!